Hello, welcome to Patito's Gang and Happy New Year. I am Nenna Jemie. 2018 is here. But before 2017 ended, the gang sat down to reflect on the past year. Let's take a look at their 2017 highlights.
Well, it'd be nice to, count our blessings. 2017 is running away in a matter of days, or hours, or seconds. And it'd be nice to review what has happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We heard of the president who was out of the country earlier in the year for months. Thank God he's back full of life now. We also had minor gates, and other gates. The Ondo election.
Burial grounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the money gets buried these days, It used to be that human beings got buried.
Yeah.
But now mausoleums are being constructed. It's incredible.
Yeah. And not to forget the agitations here and there, the herdsmen, the IPOB and all that. A whole lot. A lot of things happened. And most importantly, we have to be grateful that we are alive today. Gentlemen.
Gratitude, really.
Yeah.
Let's look at
But what better way to end the year than what has been given to us in the last week? Fuel scarcity.
Let's look at the statistics, ladies and gentlemen who are listening. Economically speaking, it was a mixed bag. The year ended with GDP growth,
Coming out of recession.
but mild. The third quarter growth was better than second quarter, even though uneven. Headline inflation was about 16% ended. Core inflation was 12%. Okay. Oil prices came in like a lamb, like economics would say, at $52.54 per barrel and ended at $62 per barrel. The game changer was oil production. The game changer was uninterrupted gas supply. All put together on a score sheet, the growth that we saw for 2017 was not very inclusive, was not very decisive. So many other things happened in between.
I think the point, Akin, that you're closing on is very important thing to note. The conversations around whether the Nigerian economy is growing as it should be growing or not, but the nature of the distribution of wealth in the country has become frightening.
It's not inclusive.
Not inclusive at all. The poor are getting much poorer. People who have access to power and a few things are getting much richer, and that is danger. I keep saying that our country has never needed leadership more than these times. Unfortunately, we have a leadership deficit all across the board. And this is the most important thing that has jumped out of 2017 for me. The incredible leadership deficit and the face of a grave need for leadership. If we're going to deal with this Gini coefficient that is running in a direction you don't want to see it go, the income distribution in the country, you need leadership. Leadership that says, look, we must move to sectors of the economy that employ a lot more people, that ensures that many people come into a wage economy, that how do you facilitate entrepreneurship at those grassroots kinds of levels. Aggressive leadership to broaden access to sources of quality of life. Harvest that demographic dividend. But really, I don't think that a source of policy and, personal leadership has been seen in doing those kinds of things. Yet, the things that damage our institution have been all over the place. Yes. The scandals on corruption. We can say everything we want about our corruption is under control and all of that. Mm-hmm. But people around the world, businessmen who do business here, know better. This is reflected in people's disposition to take risks with the Nigerian economy. And when they get that bad news kind of thing, they do worse than the reality actually shows. So, how to respond to all of those require an active citizenry, requires an engaged leadership.
And just staying on the macroeconomic indices and leadership. So it just boils down to the fact of all of these macroeconomic indices that have been pointed out, GDP growth, inflation, interest rate. How has it impacted the man on the streets? How has it affected the price of staple foods in the open market? And the jury is still out there. Now, we are faced with a government that came into power in 2015, promising reform and changes. Then we don't see the metrics that are outlined to show us how to measure what they said they would do and the outcomes. We don't see reform programs. We talked about corruption. All we hear are persecution and state managed shows. There has been no effort in the last 2 years, and this year in particular, to try and institutionalize the frameworks for fighting corruption, for instance. In developed economies, for instance, in America, you measure, at least at the presidential level, how they perform by their legislative actions. In spite of the foibles of Donald Trump, we're here today, they're celebrating the tax reform bill that has been passed. What can we point out to, for instance, that the president says, this is an issue that is close to my heart, I'm going to pursue it from the area of legislative reform to enact laws that will ensure we start something and we finish it. But all we hear are platitudes, stories that are not tied to actions. So those are the kind of things that have defined how we have run through this year, which makes it impossible for us to say, this is what we can hold to, that this government has achieved for the people this year, except the scandals.
But, and again, don't forget that Nigeria has never been so divided.
And what causes division? Paucity of leadership.
Yeah, paucity of leadership. So leadership is at the head of all these things. And when you don't, the 5%ers and 97%ers also is part of the reason why all these things are happening. There's no inclusive.
What about the problem of agencies?
Just the hand. In Kenya, many years ago, when Kenya introduced a multi-party system, it was Daniel Arap Moi that had this famous saying that the previous government, they were eating meat. His own ethnic group, they were also eating bone. Now that he's in power, it's their own turn to eat meat. Then the other ones will eat bone. And that's exactly what happened since 2017 in Nigeria. That Nigeria is so divided. The agencies are not working because the 2016 budget.
Well, I'm not quite sure that I agree with you on this. These people are eating meat, people are eating bone. It's not. A lot of my say it's people. It's the ethnic group eating bone. In Nigeria, no ethnic group ever eats meat or bone. It's just the people in power and their friends, and they're usually not from the same ethnic group. Yes. I can assure you that. Yes. Because if you really take this ethnic group analogy, then the people who become leaders, their place should thrive. But it's not the case.
Yeah.
You really look at it. Let's take the famous Nigerian divide. The North has been quote unquote in power at the top for so long. North is the poorest part of Nigeria. This governor comes from that place. His hometown is worse when he leaves. Yeah. So it's not really about this ethnic group. It's about your gang. And your gang, and usually, for what reasons, but it seems like the bagmen for people in power usually don't come from the ethnic group. Yeah. Maybe so that their brothers will know how much they are bagging. So I think that point is, but more importantly, is how our institutions are functioning. This season, we had all kinds of quarrels between different governments, agencies in different. Sometimes you wonder, is it one government or is it?
They're not synchronized.
Yeah. So I think this is a very, very important phenomenon from 2017 that needs to be addressed. Clearly, there must be some way of ensuring that there is one direction for one government.
One direction, decisiveness, communication, in 2017, our leaders hardly spoke to us.
Outside the country.
Rumors tried. And, we had rumors of war, killings, some ethnic cleansing. Nobody has come on national television as head of the country to come and address us, to come and assuage with us. And I think, again, like they say, just like the farmer, is going to do his planting, and he's prayed that the rain should fall and all that kind of thing. He goes back home, he expects a harvest, and suddenly something happens in between, and then he just raises up his hands and says nothing. What do you expect the children?
At the end of 2017,
it was, I think that indecisiveness, non-communication, let us understand what the direction.
But the Vice President spoke a lot.
Well, he spoke a lot in the sense
what
that...
I'm trying to draw attention to that as we close 2017, what would have emerged is that the government in power apparently did not prepare for leadership. They wanted power for the sake of it.
Are you sure?
Because what they have done, what they have done, and what has happened to them,
in fairness, it's not all negative. I mean, we saw some elements of the TSA. Okay, talk about corruption. Even if you say the corruption,
when you put people into positions of responsibility, they do what they are supposed to do. We shouldn't praise that.
No, but the thing is that...
What did we bring them to do? To untie roads? To demolish hospitals? So let us not begin
I am not sure if we brought them in for some aspects, sections of the country for stomach infrastructure.
Okay, hold your fire. Let's go on break, and when we return, we'll continue the debate.
2017 was a combination of good and bad. The good, we climbed out of the recession. The bad, as the gang mentions, includes a continued lack of leadership. What are your memories of 2017? Let's hear from you.
When the government is seen that way, it will be reduced. We don't want people that are just striving to get there.
So basically for me, 2017 was not so good a year for Nigeria or for Nigerians as a whole, because it was a year where we had to struggle double. I mean, it was a year when the economy went bad, like from here to here, and we still had to meet ends means. It was a year when dollar was like, hey, dollar was gold. And then it was also a year when there was a lot of killing, innocent bloods being shed. It was a year when we hired a commissioner for happiness. You can see how happy I am, right? And it was also a year when our president was not even in Nigeria, like we had an abroad president. That was cool, right? But then even in it all, the hardship and everything, we still qualified for World Cup. So that was good. We are patriotic. Thank you.
Last year was a bit scrambled, if I might say, good or bad. A lot of things happened, like a lot of jobs. People got laid off from their jobs, and the Boko Haram issues and the kidnappings and all that. But anyway, it was a good year for some and bad for some as well. On my own side, I think it was quite good because a lot of good things happened to me personally, but I don't know about anybody else, but I just wish this year is going to be better than last year. Like the presidents, like the Buhari thing, everybody talking about Buhari season and all that. I don't know, but I just hope this year he's going to change his mind and do something better.
Gearing up for the 15th CVL Annual Lecture and International Leadership Symposium.
We need to reorganize our educational system. The educational system must reflect the new realities of the 21st century.
Our young people are much, much better than we give them credit for. And they want to change their country, and they are committed.
The new tribe of Nigerians is necessary. It is that new tribe of Nigerians that I think we all should belong. That tribe that doesn't know the north or south or the west or doesn't even know religion. Just the Nigerian, the great Nigerian.
Join the Center for Values and Leadership on February 6th, 2018 as we discuss the theme Leadership and Performance in Africa, the challenge of the continent's economic competitiveness. For sponsorship and advert placement, contact Modestus +234 80 3474 6919, muolu@cvl.com.ng, James +234 8146 286645, jabube@cvl.com.ng. To register, log on to www.cvl.com.ng.
Well, we are still discussing 2017 in review and all the happenings. We started with all the things that have not been working in Nigeria. And then, but on a positive note, the Super Eagles qualified for World Cup. That's cheering news. And the international scene, don't forget Israel and Jerusalem, Donald Trump, and still causing,
some opera.
Some opera. And again, some other positive things happen.
That's what Fela was saying when trouble sleep.
I'm talking about that's the kind of thing they achieve. That's why those qualification is another example of the things Nigerians do without government support. Because it's about individual talent. But for how long are we going to continue modeling ourselves together and all of these one-off accomplishments? We are talking of holistic accomplishments that set us on the path for the future. And what we're saying is, given all of what has happened in 2017 on a scale, it doesn't look like we have a government that is prepared for
Charles, let me take it up
servant
from there.
leadership.
Yes, I like that point you raised. It's not just Nigeria. Africa, it didn't start today, right from before independence and all that.
Charity begins at home. We want to deal with our issue.
Yeah, but our own issue that no government since independence, even after independence, has never been prepared for leadership. All they are interested in struggle for power. And if you watch even the PDP convention has not ended, the mandate they came out with that let's get power back. Nobody will talk about how are we going to make the life of Nigerian, build a new nation. I didn't hear that from them.
Whether with this government, whether the last government, I'm not sure.
Nobody talks about quality of life of the people, the standard of living of the people, the Human Development Index. We're still 160 something.
In 2017, one of the things that galled me, and it should gall every right-thinking person, look at the space of strikes. Look at the educational institutions being shut down for months. What happens to the youths? Look at the state of the medicals. Okay? Look at the quackery that we found in virtually all segments of the Nigerian society. And then the year was going to end, and then something blew in our face. The SARS, and not the SARS thing, all the agitation against SARS, and what God has been doing. And not to forget the clowning governors who are commissioning private homes, who are building statues.
Governors are commissioning private homes.
Yes, the one in Kogi.
Oh,
really? Yes.
Oh, wow.
Big ceremony. And the argument in Kogi State is people say workers are being owed 10 months salaries, and the government says it's only 9 months we are doing. True. In Imo State, we are building statues.
But you see, we need creating something to look up to.
Yes.
And then look up to a big statue.
We can also come to our state if you're not happy.
But you can boost tourism. Anybody who has not seen the genuine Jacob Zuma, come to Imo, you can see him live.
To be factual, this is not a laughing matter. We are sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
And you find that even in that Imo State, the positive side of that commissioner for enjoyment is part of tourism. If you go to Aba and do your business, you can come to Imo and
there is no road connecting Aba to you can try.
How How can you say it's not laughing matter? It's not the whole thing is a joke.
It's a perambulation that we really cannot explain to any rational. But in a space of 3 months, the governor in Imo State has demolished 3 markets. He has not built alternatives for them.
We build statutes. I thought you said it.
No, I said markets.
Okay, well,
Statute. Party just told you that that's a tourist attraction.
Yes.
No, but markets where people make means of livelihood.
But the
3 tourist markets.
But the good news we're getting from Imo State that there are good people, entrepreneurs coming out to contest the next election.
That's Imo State. We're talking of 2017.
Yes, to make good
Do you know how to mold? Because we're going to insist that in Imo, the competition has to be around molding. If you can't mold, don't run.
That's what I told Frank Ineji. Frank Ineji, when he told me that he's running, I said, Frank, Abola gave me
Talking seriously, there has to be a mindset change, a radical departure from the lethargy that we have found with government. It has to be inclusive growth, and we begin to listen to the yearnings of the team.
How do we make this happen? As a people, how can we hold the people to whom we have given responsibilities of governance accountable to the things that they do?
I think that this calls for reforms in many areas, including the private sector. It calls for media reform, and I'm beginning to have a lot on media, because I think the Nigerian press is losing it.
One of Nigeria's weakest institutions.
Yes, very weak. I have to be honest. I was with Jimmy Yusu. We were talking to some embassy people, and some very well-known Nigerian journalists said, "Look, if I pick up a newspaper, I can tell who paid for this story. Any paper I pick up, I can tell who paid for this story.
Not a good story.
It's not Nigeria. Even the whole people accountable, if that's the way if the media itself is a joke. I don't see the culture in today's media moving the country in a direction. It's a cash and carry kind of thing, in which self-gratification and instant gratification has overtaken the public good, the common good. Until we can get that right, we can't hold governors who are doing silly things accountable.
Well, I think that's where we call it, close this episode of Petito's Gang. At the point made, and leadership is at the head of all this. And once you have good leadership, provide good governance and all that. And more importantly, as been discussed, any society that you can't find philosophers and thinkers, that society cannot really. And Nigeria desperately needs, more philosophers and more thinkers to drive, with the help of the media, to drive the society to our Eldorado.
So that's the gang's perspective on the year 2017. The best part about a new year is that we can apply lessons we learned from the past, and perhaps we should start by revising our priorities. Well, that's all that we have time for today. Thank you for joining us on Petito's Gang. We hope that you found today's episode to be informative and enlightening. Join the conversation. Be sure to follow us on all our social media pages displayed right there on your screen. I am Nenna Jimye. And until next time, take care and be well.